Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a story that is literally electrifying the sports world right now. We are talking about the unprecedented early success of the US men's national team at the 2026 World Cup. If you've been following along, you already know the vibe on this team is just off the charts. But today, we're going to look under the hood. We're diving into the data, the tactics, and the momentum to figure out exactly how Team USA has improved so dramatically over the last few World Cups and what exactly is fueling these massive victories today. So, what is driving this team right now? I mean, how did the USMNT go from historical tournament underdogs to suddenly securing back-to-back World Cup wins? They opened the tournament by totally dominating Paraguay 4-1 and then turned right around and delivered a 2-0 shutout over a really tough Australia team. Because of that, they've officially advanced from Group D to the round of 32 with a game to spare. It's absolutely historic. Okay, let's dive into this because you really have to go all the way back to 1930 to understand the magnitude of this run. 1930, the inaugural tournament. That was the last time the United States won back-to-back games on this global stage. To put that into perspective for you, the World Cup trophy didn't even have its current name yet. For nearly a century, stringing together consecutive wins at the World Cup was just impossible for them. But this current squad, they just shattered that streak. It really highlights how much the program has evolved to reach this new level of consistency.
All right, Section 1, Data and Defense, the turnaround. Let's look at exactly what's changed on the pitch.
And this brilliantly illustrates the shift. Heading into 2026, the USMNT had a really glaring vulnerability. 0 clean sheets in their previous 10 games. 0. It was exactly that kind of defensive fragility that caused earlier generations of US teams to get knocked out early. But against a highly physical Australian squad, this defense bent, but they absolutely refused to break. They locked down the Socceroos to get their first shutout in 11 games. Seeing that kind of defensive turnaround pop up in the middle of a high-stakes tournament, it's a massive game changer. A huge piece of that success comes down to goalkeeper Matt Freese. He just posted his first World Cup shutout in only his second career game. And honestly, his mindset says it all. After the match, he told reporters, 1 clean sheet sounds great. 2, 3, 4 clean sheets sounds a lot better. I mean, that is the exact mentality you want, right? They aren't just happy to survive a match anymore, they're hungry to completely suffocate opponents as they go deeper into the bracket.
Which ties perfectly into Section 2, Next Man Up, Thriving Under Pressure.
Because look, it hasn't been a perfectly smooth ride for Coach Mauricio Pochettino. Think about this for a second. They actually secured their early spot in the knockout stages without their absolute best attacking player on the field. Star Christian Pulisic was forced to sit on the bench with a lingering calf injury. Now, in past World Cups, losing a generational talent like Pulisic right before a crucial match, that would have completely derailed the U.S. game plan. But this 2026 squad, they didn't miss a beat. The system just worked, no matter who stepped onto the pitch. Striker Vollerin Valvrin pretty much summed up the vibe. After a super physical, high-stakes game where emotions could have easily boiled over, he just said it was a really professional performance. That's exactly what it was. They kept their cool, they held their tactical shape, and they just executed. And honestly, you literally can't talk about this next man up mentality without looking at Alex Freeman. It has been an unbelievable year for the 6'2" fullback. Think about this timeline. He goes from getting his first MLS start with Orlando City to becoming a national team regular, bagging a winter transfer to Spanish powerhouse Villarreal, and now he scores his very first World Cup goal. Right before halftime, Serginho Dest takes a shot. It takes a deflection, and Freeman is right there in the box to nod it past the keeper. After a tense VAR review, the goal stood, giving the U.S. a back-breaking 2-0 lead. What a year for him. Which leads us to Section 3, creating their own luck. Relentless pressure. So, it brings up a really fascinating question. When a team gets this kind of benefit from unusual mistakes by their opponents, is it just dumb luck? Or is it actually the result of relentless offensive pressure, forcing those critical errors? Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer anomaly of it. In Game 1 against Paraguay, the U.S. took the lead on an own goal. Then, in Game 2 against Australia, boom, it happened again. Folarin Balogun made this electric surge into the box from the left side, fired a low cross, and Australian center back Cameron Burgess turned it right into his own net just 11 minutes in. Because of that sequence, the U.S. became the very first team in the almost 100-year history of the World Cup to profit from own goals in consecutive games. It's wild. Sometimes the best offense is just creating total chaos in the box, and it is paying massive dividends for them. Now, we can't ignore the environment they're playing in. Section 4, the 12th man, the host nation advantage.
To really grasp the sheer magnitude of the host nation advantage, just look at the economics here. In Dallas alone, which is just one of the host cities, this tournament is projected to generate $2.1 billion in economic activity and draw 2.7 million visitors. That influx of energy translates directly into the stadiums. Up in Seattle, where they played Australia, the city was completely awash in USA jerseys. We're talking a roaring crowd of nearly 70,000 people, creating an atmosphere that Matt Freese called a true 12th man. That momentum from the stands is literally pushing them forward.
And that 12th man is completely rattling the opponents. Even the Australian coach, Tony Popovich, admitted it. He praised his team's second-half response, sure, but he openly acknowledged how incredibly difficult it is to play against what he called this noise here. The U.S. came out faster, won every early duel, and just rode the wave of a deafening 70,000-person roar. So the crucial point is, when you combine all of these factors, the Titans' defense, the next-man-up execution, and that explosive home crowd, it has propelled the USMNT to an entirely new global standing, 4th place globally in the FIFA Men's World Ranking. This isn't just a fluke tournament run. This ranking proves that over the last few World Cups, the United States has steadily evolved into a legitimate global powerhouse, a team that dictates matches instead of just hoping to survive them. So, with all that momentum, what's next? Section 5, the road ahead, visualizing the path. Let's move to and see how this builds, because winning their group means the U.S. avoids some early heavy hitters. On July 1st, they're projected to face Bosnia and Herzegovina in the round of 32 down in Santa Clara. If they advance, July 6th brings a massive round of 16 clash against Belgium in Seattle. And if they survive that gauntlet, a grueling quarterfinal matchup against defending European champion Spain awaits in LA on July 10th. But look, that potential July 6th match is the one jumping right off the page at us. A round of 16 rematch against Belgium gives the U.S. a chance to finally erase the ghost of 2014. You all probably remember that heartbreaking extra-time loss to Belgium in Brazil. But the U.S. team from 2014, which really had to rely on scrambling defense and heroic goalkeeping, has been entirely replaced by Pochettino's aggressive, dynamic new squad. Meanwhile, Belgium looks remarkably familiar, still fielding veterans from that very game, like Kevin De Bruyne and Romelu Lukaku. Talk about a poetic opportunity, right? For this vastly improved modern American side to conquer the exact same team that sent them packing 12 years ago. Which leaves us with this final thought to ponder. Mauricio Pochettino clearly has the tactics completely dialed in. The roster is incredibly deep, resilient, and aggressively forcing the issue. And behind them, a record-breaking 12th man is roaring in every stadium across the nation. We are quite literally watching history unfold. So the only question left is, just how deep into the 2026 World Cup can this USMNT run? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep your eyes on the pitch, and I'll catch you next time.